about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going fall into oblivion. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going in. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. But now you wanna see me fall. From a quarter mile, I can see you at the call. Think about it, ring won't tell you what I saw. When you break it off, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going in. Fall into oblivion. Fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, 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 oblivion. I'm going in.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are ready for this riveting matchup of the CEA Open League Finals between Miami University and Florida International University. I'm CDAPS, joined here by my co-host.
Hello, I'm Crow. I am pretty new to the collegiate scene, but Calvrix asked me to do the open finals, and I said hell yeah, because although I don't know much about collegiate, I know Miami, I know Florida International. I've heard their names dropped many, many times, and from what I've been told, they both seem like very, very scary teams. So I'm super excited to watch these two teams go at it.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited as well. Both of these teams have fought their way through a big old bracket and a whole lot of teams. I believe we had 144 teams in Open League this year. So to be at the top of that sort of compilation of really high level teams, there was a lot of competition between all of these teams. And to be sitting at the top at the end, fighting for this big old prize pool, fighting for the glory, fighting for everything is definitely an achievement in on itself.
Yeah, and you were talking about the prize pool. First place, you get 5 Corsair Void RGB Elite USB premium gaming headsets. They come with 7.1 surround sound. Uh, each of your players also gets $30 in Amazon gift cards. You also get 450 in cash, which is, that's always nice. We're college kids. We can always use money. Every little bit helps. Second place, though, you're the runner up, but you don't leave empty handed. You get 5 Corsair HS50 Pro stereos. You get $20 in each of you gets $20 in Amazon gift cards, and you get 300 USD. So I mean, it's still not bad.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I'll take a great high quality Corsair headset any
Listen,
day,
I'll
as
take
well as
30.
some extra money.
I'll take a $20 Amazon card. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. And we do have to just go ahead and shout out to our sponsor, being Corsair, as they have partnered with us and they have allowed us to make this prize pool a lot beefier than we've seen in recent years. So a big shout out to them, as well as our other sponsors being with NEU, so what's new.gg. They have helped us make our own merch line. And so if you want to get any of that high quality merch you see, you want to rep the league and support it just a little bit better, you can go over there, find the CEA tag, and make sure to get that. As well as if you need a little bit of extra pep in your step, you can go over to Rogue Energy and get a little bit of their energy supplement. If you use code CEA at checkout, you will get 10% off. So now we can just go ahead and get right into talking about the bands because they have just come in on our side.
Yeah. So speaking of map bands, uh, I'm a fan of them. We get Coastline, which was FIU's pick, Cafe for MU, and our decider is going to be Villa. So we're talking about both these teams going at it. Coastline to start off is a very, very, very aggressive map. I love it just because it's whatever team is hot off their guns tends to come away with the win. Um, and with the way we were talking earlier, we're thinking it's definitely going to be a duel between Soup of MU and Santa on FIU. Both those guys playing those necessarily, well, I don't know about Soup playing necessarily an entry role. He's more on, IQ and Doc, but still he is a very, very, very competent fragger, and Santa seems to be like he's gonna be the guy, spearheading those attacks. First in, maybe first gone as well. Mod as well has been doing really well, actually statistically ahead of Santa, despite not playing as aggressive roles. So I'm really excited to see stuff from him too. And, yeah, and then the next Mac Cafe, we get so CDAPs, I don't know about you, but I like to categorize the maps into 3 different sections. We got the monkey maps, that's gonna be
Yep.
your border, that's gonna be your coastline.
Slide
You
and
got your
consulate.
you got your really, really strat heavy maps that, your theme park, your villa, your clubhouse, and then the maps in the middle, I like to put consulate kinda in the middle. Consulate and cafe, I kinda sit in the middle. So we get 1 of each. We got coastline, cafe, villa. So we get 3 drastically different play styles on each of these maps. Well, if we do need Villa. But
Yeah.
starting off hot is always going to be fun, and then who knows? I think the fact that Villa is last gives the teams a little bit of time to cool off after those really, really heavy fragging maps.
Yeah, with Villa being last, it's sort of like everything's sort of you're throwing all your mental ability into a pot and it's slowly simmering up as you're going. You're going from coastline, which if you ever did CS:GO, it's like the Dust 2. You just whoever
Yeah,
gets the kills, it's gunfight, gunfight, gunfight. Whoever's clicking
yeah,
head's gonna win that map. Cafe, you gotta turn your brain on just that little bit more. There is the ability for the high octane, very fast gameplay if how you are playing it lines up with that ideology, then the map can sort of devolve into very frag heavy, or it can be very strat heavy, very sort of slow and methodical, very big roam clear, very big utility dump, and all that kind of stuff. But as you get into Villa, there's not really a way you can play it super fast, or else you are going to get punished on either side accordingly. There's so many specific choke points, there's really long hallways, and that's going to be very fun to watch.
yeah. It's Villa is especially too just because of how absolutely massive, how massive the map is. It's hard to play that kind of style. It also graces itself to a lot of flank potential if the attackers don't properly watch their backs. But I think Carpe just said we do have a bracket available as well, so we can see the journey these two teams have taken here so far.
Yeah, so if we look at the both of these teams actually have come from the left side of the bracket, which is a little bit
Mhm.
interesting. But as Miami had a sort of interesting path, they went through UIC, they took down TTU, they managed to take down York, which was the 1 seed upset, and then they went all the way over to the West Coast and took out California State University of Long Beach. As you look at FIU, they took down NJIT, who's a strong team, as well as Embry Riddle Aeronautical University. I don't know what the last part of it is. I know they have about
Oh,
3 or
that's
4 teams in
ERAU Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach, there we go,
Yeah.
as well as taking out MTU Gold, which I know is a good team as well, and finally going all the way into the semifinals and taking out Simone Fraser. So both these teams have had quite the journey, quite respectable.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I know FIU's name is I have all five of the guys on ERAU are friends of mine, been friends for about a year and a half, 2 years, and they were telling me, going into FIU, we don't really expect to win. Because FIU have been really, really scary. Uh, so they've both come a long way. They're here. We're ready to crown an open league champion. Of course, though, even if you win, you still gotta play relegation. Speaking of too, we were talking about Long Beach earlier. They had felled, I believe it was Virginia.
They
Uh,
beat Virginia last night,
yeah, they
or
beat
2
Virginia
nights ago.
last night, so eliminated them. We wanna look at stats real quick. We kinda glossed over them before. We wanna look at, more in depth. We've got Miami University's A team up first. It's gonna be Audacity, Exert, Lulu, Soup, and Worm. We talked about Soup before. We dropped his name. He has largely been that fragger for MU. Audacity as well, kinda coming up a little bit. He's on Ash Yeager. I'm surprised that, Audacity has a lower, well, yeah, they're favorites, but I'm surprised with him favoring that entry role. I don't know what he exactly plays, but it's interesting that he's got a lower, kill death standing than Soup does.
I think at this point, Soup is just we know he's nuts. I know specifically if you
Yeah.
watch him on that IQ LMG, it doesn't matter when it happens, but if there's sort of any lull in a round, like there's sort of any sort of push, like stopped, it slows down for a second. He just goes, screw it, I'll be entry, and then just flies into sight with the LMG, has about 50 bullets to kill everybody. And that just happens. So
The G8A1 the G8A1 is a very, very formidable weapon.
I think it has the
Uh,
same time to kill as the R4C, if I think I
uh,
remember that.
I
It's very
would not
similar,
I would
especially with an
not
angled grip.
I would not doubt it at all. But if we want to transition to FIU's roster as well, we have Jan, Lyrid, Menti, Mod, and Santa. We also dropped, Santa and Mod's name as well. They have been doing very, very well for themselves. Plus 36 for Mod, plus 24 for Santa. A 0.97 KPR for Mod, almost matching Soup's 1.01. So I think largely it's probably going to be probably Mod and Santa versus Audacity and Soup, just judging, first glance at the stats.
Yeah, looking at the stats, like every single player in this lobby is definitely formidable in their own right. Everybody's playing their role really well, and everybody has the stats to back it up. So if that is any sort of indicator for how this game's going to go, it's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a close one, and there's just going to be blow after blow after blow, it's gut punch after gut punch after gut punch, and whoever is able to continue fighting forward, that's who's going to be crowned the champion of Open League this year.
Yeah, like you said, it's gonna be whose guns are hotter. Well, at least on map number one. So we're just waiting for one more guy to join in the lobby, and then we can load right into the first map, which again is going to be FIU's pick. So I'm assuming FIU we're gonna see play with the utmost of confidence because that's really what a lot of gunfights come down to, right? It's who's taking the initiative in the peak, who's being the aggressor, and who's got more confidence. Because if you're not confident, you're likely not going to win the fight. That's just how the nature of siege and the nature of aim works. So hopefully, Miami are ready for the aggression that FIU, I would assume, are going to bring. I believe we're just waiting for Jan, and then we can start right in the lobby. We can talk about too the. I think the bans might be telling too. We didn't talk about the bans because there's no map ban graphic, but MU had banned Consulate and Club. FIU had banned Border and Bank, and I think that's pretty interesting. Well, Bank first of all off the board just because it's not in the Pro League pool anymore. So there's not a lot of new stuff that you can kind of adopt from the upper echelon of play, which is why we've seen it falling off. It's not even in T3 anymore. Everyone's starting to pick up theme park. But I think it's interesting that they both took out a fairly aggressive map, as well as both taking out a fairly utility heavy map as well.
Yeah, seeing exactly how they banned each side. Like you said, there's those 3 different pools of maps. Banning sort of in the same pool or even going all the way across as we've seen right here. It is sort of an indicator on how you want to play the map and how you want to set up your playstyle for this best of 3 series, because it's definitely going to be a very big stamina map. And that's the great thing about Siege is it's not only pure aim. There's a lot of sort of mental aspects of it, and you have to have that fortitude. You have to have that stamina in order to continue and push through all the way on a best of 3. Because if it does go all the way to map 3, it can be about 3.5 hours, and that's
Yeah,
definitely a
that's a
grueling
long
and
time.
daunting task to go ahead.
Yeah, and right, we were talking about the earlier too, the two maps starting off really heavy on the frags and maybe cooling off on Villa. If that exhaustion hits you though, it can definitely hurt your brain. And Villa's one of those maps where you really got to have that on. It focuses a lot on your strat play, your teamwork, your adaptability. And if you're really tired from playing super aggro maps and maybe stuck in that mindset, or just, the exhaustion hits you, you don't have as much fortitude, that can hurt on Villa as well.
Yeah, so if we're going in on this, MU is starting on attack on coastline. And that will be map number 1. And I think my little prediction here is that they are going to take coastline off of the hands of FIU. I don't know about your prediction here. We can hear that.
What score? You want to call the score?
I'm going to say a 7-5. It's going to be close.
7-5 for Miami.
Yes.
Hmm. FIU's map pick. MU decide they're going to start on the attack. I don't know. I think FIU might have something special. I don't know. I think judging from the overall stats as well, I don't know how quote unquote difficult the brackets may have been, but FIU has been handedly positive compared to Miami. Miami's only got two guys going positive. Everyone on FIU is positive with the exception of Menti, who's only -1. And I think on a super frag heavy map such as Coastline, I don't know. I think I might give the edge to FIU. But speaking of, we'll head right into the match. Like you said, Miami starting on attack. This is FIU's map pick. I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited, and we're going to get this band phase right on going as FIU will be taking away the first attacker off of the board. They seem to be deliberating just a little bit as that timer continues to just tick, tick, tick away as the sort of the good luck have funs are going in, showing the great sportsmanship and that both of these teams do have respect for each other, and they're going to go. Actually, as Lulu drops a good half, he's struggling just a little bit, but the first ban will
Oh,
now be
who's it gonna
going
be?
on the board, and the first
Nomad?
attacker will be a
Capital.
Capitao being banned. That's an operator that brings a whole bunch of utility for the execute, taking him off the board. Maybe they did a little bit of scouting and sees that Miami does utilize that Capitao, the smokes, and the fire to help get on into the bomb site. Taking him off the board is also taking off a pretty good gun in the Para or the LMG, as well as just a 3-speed operator with a ton of utility.
Yeah, he's a pretty default ban just everywhere on any map because he's so good at flushing out tight little corners. That is a ban and a half.
That is a target ban.
Miami are gonna take Ash off the board from FIU. And that, like you said, that's a target ban. We've seen that even in Pro League to counter Joystick, to counter Nyx, to counter those super heavy frag players. I'm interested to see what FIU's Ash main is gonna swap onto as they also take out the Maestro as well.
Yeah, Maestro is one of those operators that I believe Lyrid is the one on FIU plays it. I've seen him just rip through teams at the end of rounds with that Alda. 81 bullets, insane fire rate,
Yeah,
ton of damage, but the ACOG was the problem. Ubisoft definitely was.
absolutely. It
Absolutely
fixed
was the
Ash,
issue.
obviously.
Oh yeah, for sure. But the meatball man is now gone, and that sort of both of these operators now, Echo and Maestro being gone. Those are the traditional plant denial operators, and having them both be on the board sort of does lend in to accompanying that Capitao ban. If Capitao was still on the board with both of those gone, it would be kind of a lot easier to get plants down. But with that Capitao being gone, it's gonna sort of cancel out a little bit of the effect. However, Coastline does swing a little bit more towards the attacker's side in favor. It's one of the very few maps in Siege that does, because of how aggressive you can be. And typically the attackers have better guns. You get your peeker's advantage, you start swinging with your chest, and you can pick down some people quite easily.
Yeah, especially just because of the potential to cut off every rotate upstairs from the roof through the courtyard holes. Um, I think something else to mention too is I don't know how it is in collegiate, but at least in T3, this is very interesting in the sense that this is a coastline with Nomad still up, Thatcher still up, Valkyrie still up, and Mira on the board. And what that Mira pick is gonna do is essentially unlock Penthouse for the defense. Now, it has fallen very, very out of favor. A lot of teams won't even bring Penthouse, even if there is a Mira on the field, but it is pretty much her best site on this map. She also finds a lot of use, and she finds some use in Kitchen. Some teams even play her in Double Bar. So I'm going to be interested if either of these teams decide to play her. She's almost never available, so that'll be cool. Worm is going to be the one to pick up the Nomad, and it looks like he's going to be on diffuser duty as well. Nomad is usually taken off the board because of how aggro this map is. If she's banned, you'll usually see a gridlock to cut off those staircases, but now you get a little more of that hard stop in the form of those air jabs. So not necessarily interesting bans. I think that the bans are still pretty default with the exception of, the Ash, but I think it's more interesting in the sense of the operators that are still left available to both these teams.
Yeah, the Nomad is just so strong on this map because vertical control does reign supreme, especially on a site like Kitchen here. You can just blast away the entire ceiling on both of these sites, and there's nowhere safe to hold. If you are able to clear the roamers back downstairs, there's only 2 staircases. There's only 2 ways up onto the second floor, and if you do the math, you have 3 air jabs. So you still have 1 in your pocket you can replace, or you can use it to stop a rotation inside of sight, and it makes it very difficult for any sort of retake positions. We're going to see some drone work coming out as Audacity's already peeking over towards the VIP area, trying to find exactly where Maud and Jan are both residing near theater and master bedroom.
And something interesting to bring up too is the fact that there's a Buck on the board and not a Sledge. You've seen Buck's pick rate maybe dip because of the lack of nades, and I wonder if that's just Miami maybe assuming it was going to be Hookah, because you don't really need a Buck over a Sledge for this site as it's all vertically, downwards. But Soup taking control of 90, he'll fell in Mod as well as Jan, just neither player expecting the position, and Lulu on a run out, I'm assuming, is going to take out Lyrid, and that's already pretty much the 3 freest picks of MU's careers.
Yeah, the smoke going off the board first is not something that you want. That is not a favorable outcome, as he got a little bit over aggressive, but so will Santa as Soup finishes him off with that pistol. He goes on for the triple kill, trying to get his 4K down, and they're going to drop and start going in towards Sunrise. It's all left up to Minty in a 1v5 instance, and maybe his heroics will be able to be here, but Hibana's going to break open this keg wall and start blasting through the floor hash, and Exert will start the round flawless for MU, as they are really bringing the aggression early.
Yeah, that was, like you said, very aggressive, very quick clear in. Soup was just in 90, completely uncontested. And when the Jaeger was like, crap, they're pushing Penthouse, Mozzie, hold down here, I'll try for a VIP flank. Soup was just there to shut the door on him. And Mozzie's still prone, if you're in the middle of crawling, you're probably going to lose that fight to the G8A1. And the Claymore just to top it all off. And from there, you're probably not going to win a 5v2 with a minute plus still on the clock. That was a really, really good, down to just, like Coastline often comes down to, a really, really solid entry from Miami.
Yeah, and that's what you see with Coastline. It's just it really comes down to whoever gets the first pick. And in that instance, none of the picks were refragged out by the roamers, and MU just sort of had free reign up top, and they had their vertical control within about 45 seconds. I believe they just kind of flew straight in and had a pinch on those roamers inside a master, and they won their gunfights, and that's what Coastline does come down to. That's probably going to be our most said phrase for this map.
Yeah. And what I'm surprised too is there wasn't even any damage traded onto Miami, at least not for those first 3. Maybe the Pulse got some back on the IQ, but I didn't see, so that might have well been not just a flawless, but a completely 100%, everyone's still at 100% HP flawless, which is definitely the way you want to start off a map. So good job to Miami, but Florida International, they don't want to try and repeat. They're just going to say to hell with it. We're going to go back up to Hookah, typically the primary site on Coastline. Is there a Mozzie? Okay, there's a Mozzie on the board from Jan. Whenever there's a Mozzie on the board, you kind of have to assume he's going to be downstairs. It's like 90% of the time he's going to be downstairs playing for that C4, playing around his pests, usually in office. He's positioned all the way by reception right now, which is a little bit interesting, but I'm sure he's going to try to at least retake there if the push comes from Aqua, which, judging by the drones, looks to be the setup so far. They're making sure blue bar is clear, making sure office is clear, making sure they can push into Aqua with no presence from below. Lyrid's going to be one of those main points of contention as well with the gas canisters. The longer that Florida International are able to delay, the stronger that smoke becomes, especially because the UB hasn't fixed the whole smoke through wall propagation thing. So you just sit safe in the corner of Cocktail and keep gassing out the plant spot. Audacity, though, speaking of, again, early engagements, he's taken a hell of a lot of heat on that office doorway.
Yeah, if you look at where Lyrid is, he's actually holding a sort of a coconut broth angle where you can blast through that floor and you can actually see the
Yeah.
left side of the office door. I know I like to use that angle a good amount. But he actually got but he got shot from the hatch, which is the mod on the dock, sitting above, playing a sort of highly aggressive angle that you do not expect. But I think the biggest thing is the adjustment coming out of Menti, switching onto the Goyo. Here, he's going to be trying to slow down the aggression that Miami initially flashed. They show that they want to go fast and they want to hit site hard. So being able to pop those Goyo shields, it sort of acts like an extra 2 smoke canisters, where they can
Yeah.
just burn away about 10 seconds once you pop those explosive Vulcan shields.
Yeah, like you said, he kind of doubles up in the kind of the castle, like in between a castle and a smoke. He's there to cover his team, he's there to waste utility from the attack, and he's there for the delay power. But Santa, who is stuck in the corner of Aqua, he's finally going to get felled by the Zofia of Lulu, and now it's Mod alone, getting flashed out, has to push up. That's an excellent clear again by Miami. Sure, they took a lot of early damage on Audacity, but he hasn't even really engaged in any fights, and again, 2 free early picks. Well, I say early, but there's only 40 seconds left in the round. At least they're stacking up on Aqua. They do have a fair bit of control. They have all the downstairs. They're starting to edge their way into Aquarium to try and do this this billiards take. Gas canisters are starting to come out, and that is the perfect time. You can delay about 10 seconds with each of those, so the Nomad is going to fall off. You got Soup on the rappel to make sure the Goyo can't make the descent back into sight, and make sure if the smoke ever tries to peek out a little too aggressively, he should get punished, but time is running low. Only 10 seconds left. Miami have to make their move. Worm will aggressively just push Cocktail, take out Lyrid. That's the smoke gone. Goyo has no clue the push is coming as well. He trades back Soup, but is quickly refragged. It's all Jan, and will get taken out down the 90 hallway. Miami, another very solid attack. Not flawless, but still just as dominant as they come.
Yeah, that was just watching Audacity fly all the way around the map as he was over in Aqua with the rest of the team. He goes, oh, well, I guess we need to go. And he flew all the
Yeah.
way up 5 stairs, shot the Goyo in the back, and was able to cut the rotation of Jan from Xbox as he was trying to he wanted to get down into office. He wanted to get that Nitro Cell kill, but Miami was definitely covering that angle, and he knew he was sort of stuck in that way. But we're going to see a return to Hookah come out as Mod and Santa will be picking up the anti-throwables in the form of Jaeger and Wamai. I think the most interesting thing about Wamai was originally when his concept was leaked and it was announced, everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is the Jaeger killer. Jaeger's finally going to be down. They're never going to, I don't have to play Jaeger anymore. But as he's been introduced into the meta, I do believe he's more of a Jaeger supplement in the fact of how much utility you have to now dump when you have those magnets, you have those ADSs, you have something like castle barricades and Goyo shields. It's going to slow down however Miami is going to attack, and they're going to have to make sure to use all of that soft breach ability in the form of probably the Zofia lifelines to take out the Goyo shields, as well as all of the flashbangs they're bringing from Buck, Nomad, and Hibana to make sure that those ADSs and magnets are cleared out of the way.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely a good point you brought up. Everyone was like, oh, is this the power creep onto Jaeger? But I think a big part of the reason why he hasn't is, one, he's only got 5 magnets, where Jaeger has a total of 6 charges. 2, they have to regenerate. You can't just, throw them all out in the beginning of the round and let it sit there. You have to stay alive, which is why you typically take you see Jaegers without Wamais, but you really never see Wamais without Jaegers, just because Jaegers, it's a little more concrete on what you'll be able to deny, because you can never count on your Wamai actually living long enough to get all his denial down. But that position that Mod got quickly fleshed out on, as well as with his teammate behind Aqua, largely came down to those throwables. That's why he's going to be playing there with the Wamai.
Yeah, Wamai's sort of, you have to play near sight. You have to play at least on a sort of soft roam lurking ability. You need to be close enough to sight to be able to throw those discs in. But with a Jaeger, you can just sort of set it and forget it. You can throw down your ACSs, then go fly all the way to the other side of the map.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that he's got such an anchor-heavy, like an anchor-geared utility just because he's got an AUG, man. Imagine being able to just freely roam around without a care in the world with the AUG on defense, man. That'd be sick.
Yeah, the only thing is the ADS speed, but
That's true. Kinda
if you're
sucks.
peeking, if you know how to peek with it, you're going to be peeking aim down sight. You're going to be using intel from your
Yeah,
team
I mean,
to
the
sort of
416 is
pre-fire.
good. The 416 isn't fast.
I think it's a
The
little bit faster than the AUG.
It's
The
a
only
little
thing about the
faster,
AUG
but it's
is
not
it covers
overpowered.
up so much of your screen.
That's true
It's
too,
so
yeah.
sad.
Sometimes in Pro League, we still see, like, MP5K Womai, and it's like,
If you're hitting
I
heads, you're hitting
mean,
heads.
yeah, I guess so. It's a little bit of a slower round this time from Miami. Well, I say that, but, you know, it was 2 kills at 40 seconds for them, but Audacity, I think the big change is he can play a little bit more aggressively because he still has all his HP accounted for. You see him trying to flush Mod out behind Aqua Bar. That's a really important position for the attackers to take if they, you know, want to take Aqua at all. It's unless you have a buck too, and unless you have enough throwables, it's really hard to get a player out of that position. You see Audacity's already done a little bit of damage. You've also got Soup on the window to potentially cut him off after he's done droning. Mod is very exposed. He's going to rotate to the other side of Aqua. Not cut off by Worm because Worm unfortunately just wasn't aggressive enough on the doorway, so Mod will persist. He's also got the hatch for fallback. Really the question is the Buck going to find it? But it's Lulu on an upside-down rappel. He'll find Mod again, the same entry frags as last round. Lulu onto Mod. And the Womai falls, not, you know, all of his discs were not yet out. Now, at least you'll trade back on the IQ, and that is, that's not as important of a pick as I would think it is, especially with Valkyrie and Echo still up, but neither are being taken. So, I mean, I think that's more Soup off the board than IQ, but Menti will find another one onto Exert, and FIU are already looking way better as Santa finds another Menti tags on as well, 2 for each of them. It's all up to the Exophia. She'll at least find Lyrid, so deny the 4-up. Actually gets a triple on the round, but, you know, they're wholly impactless, as he's got no time at all. Florida International will finally take a round back on round number 3, desperately needed, and it was done a lot better. I think they played the aggression a lot more properly instead of, you know, stacking into Aqua heavily, trying to take the fights. I think the long roam is definitely what did MU in.
Yeah, Aqua is one of those positions that it is very hard to hold. If attackers want it, they're most likely going to get it. And how you have to set up in this instance, they still had the player, they still had the Wamai sitting in there quite aggressively. But I think the play was definitely all those punch holes over on towards the billiards between hookah and billiards wall that allowed some nice angles as well as peeking from the rotate holes. They sort of understood that these MU players were going to stack up inside of Aqua, and they used that to their advantage this time in order to make it sort of like a kill box and definitely cut the rotation out of that. And instead of denying entry into Aqua, they just denied entry into sight, and that worked out a good bit better. We're going to have to see how their adjustments to the playstyle of MU are going to work out as they go back downstairs to kitchen, which, if you do remember, on the very first round was a full flawless on the side of Miami University, on the back of the heroics of Soup, just entering in and taking out all the roamers. People like Mod D and Jan are gonna have to stay alive just that little bit longer. It's trying to kill away as much time as possible, because time is always in the back pocket on the side of the defenders.
Yeah, I think a big thing about last round too is the man we've seen step up so many times before is who we needed to see, and that was Santa. He finally got his first kills of the game. It was on the aggressive roam, on the Jaeger. Maul, though, still on a donut is definitely curious, considering he is the most positive player on the entire team, so hopefully he's just having a little bit of a slow day, a little bit of a warm-up. Something to mention too is maybe the reason why they only have one round is it's not just Mod. It's Lyrid and Jan, too, all on donuts. Santa and Menti have the only kills for their team. So it's a little bit of slow goings for FIU to start off the match. Everyone on MU has found their frags. Lulu is 7-0 on round 3. So Lulu's definitely putting the team on his back and running with them. And so far, except for that last round, there hasn't been much that FIU have been able to do to stop him.
Yeah, and if you look at what Santa is doing, he's just continuously flashing that cardiac sensor because he knows the IQ is present here and is probably upstairs in VIP. He's going to try to rip an extra cell, but it will not connect and will now make a little bit of a double-edged sword as he is below. A little bit of soft destruction here. The roof above has gone underneath some DIY work as the rest of the MU attackers are now blasting away in conjunction with that bug and the breaching charges, cutting off all of these angles here. But Santa's going to try to go upstairs. The soup actually gets down through those aforementioned holes, and I do not believe the Nomad has actually managed to air jab off the Cool Vibe stairs. He has only used one in this instance. He still has two of those air jabs in his pocket, and that could spell disaster on any sort of flank retake. But Santa will opt to just go back downstairs and continue feeding away the intel to the rest of his team, with players like Mod and Jan from Xbox trying to rotate up white to kill these players that are going to try to push down in the main lobby.
Speaking of, it's going to be Exert moving down into reception, and Mod will immediately fell to Hibana. Hibana, not the biggest utility pick on this map. You know, it's really the only map in the pool where hard breach is kind of a luxury that you don't need. It's not necessary at all. Soup is going to throw a drone out, and that might be a fatal mistake as it's caught by Lyrid. Lyrid takes perfect advantage of that opportunity. One comes in for a trade. It's going to be Lulu, now 8-0 on this map, to frag back on the smoke. They have a little bit aggressive from Lyrid. Maybe not the operator you want, but the Jaeger absolutely whiffs. Tags up Lulu, but Lulu on the turnaround will just good night Mod. And it's back to an even 3v3. It could have been a very well-handed man count advantage for FIU, but they decided they were just going to keep playing aggro and reception, got absolutely destroyed by Lulu on the 2K, and the plant's going to try and go down from Worm. There isn't a lot of time, though, and the pulse is retaken upstairs. Lulu gets another, but Jet from Xbox has felled the planter. Lulu's finally traded back, and yet again, FIU will win their second round in a row due to time. Just like the last, a lot of mulling about spent upstairs before the frags finally came in reception, but it wasn't enough, especially with the retake upstairs by Santa. I think even if they got the frags on site, that could have been stopped by the Pulse there.
Yeah, the Pulse had all of the... He utilized all the work that Miami did upstairs to his own advantage, and that's why you need the Nomad charges to block that rotation, because especially if you're not going to be having somebody upstairs playing those holes, you sort of made them for nothing. They didn't get any picks off of them, and then all of a sudden you gave Santa the biggest bit of utility you could possibly have. He had sight lines onto every default plant. He had sight lines onto every post plant position that the attackers might want to have used. So definitely a dangerous position to go back upstairs. Typically you would expect somebody like either the IQ or the Buck to stay upstairs and try to cut any rotations, getting the plant off and having that be your post plant position. But MU just sort of abandoned ship upstairs.
Yeah, they with the little time they had and an already decrease in manpower, they kind of had to put all their eggs in one basket and hope the downstairs push worked. A beautiful C4 by, I believe it was Jan from Xbox on the Mozzie to find that kill and back in pantry, and was the result of Lulu's first death. Good God, good job, Jan from Xbox. First two kills happened to be two very, very good impact kills. Mod also found his first kill that round as well. So Lulu finally going to die, but still 10 kills. 10 kills for Lulu. Lulu actually has more kills than FIU combined. Just by himself. He has been absolutely insane so far through these first 4 rounds. And the fact that MU is... Honestly, the fact that MU has been pretty decently backing him up and still are even with FIU solely by the fact that they're taking a little bit too much time is a little scary. It seems like FIU have definitely woken up, started to adapt to the playstyle, and Jen is just going to peek out the sunrise window and fell soup on the rappel. That's a big player down. That's IQ down. On double bar, she definitely lends herself to picking off that utility through the floor, and now you're not going to have that. You're not going to have the G8A1, and that is a frag, you know, coming even before 45 seconds are even gone on the clock.
Yeah, that's the second time Soup has fallen on that double window rappel from the exact same angle. So we saw Santa rotate on it last time they were attacking Hookah. So maybe that should have been in the back of his mind that is within the realm of possibilities for the aggression of FIU to show on that face. However, the face of Soup was just blasted away by the SMG-11. And now Miami's going to slow down just a little bit, and they're going to start droning more and more, and they're going to run into Mod over towards office, playing the Wamai, trying to find whenever Worm wants to enter in on this area, as he's just going to keep on aggressively peeking, and he does have Santa over near CCTV area in security room, very close by, really utilizing this 5-second rule where both these players could trade quite easily, but Leard will trade out and get Excerpt, but not before Worm is able to refrag him quite instantly, and it is a 3v4 instance with about a minute 15 left.
Yeah, and I mean, Castle for Hibana, Castle's already put his stuff down. You don't need him anymore. So, a good refrag there. 1 for 2 so far, and there's still a shield that they've got to deal with that the smoke is playing behind right next to Mudroom. Able to just keep stalling out with the gas. The impact actually missed by coming from behind. Audacity with a perfectly timed flank. He gets 2 free kills, and there's no one in a position to refrag. Santa's going to try and move down Cool's 5 stairs, but his position is known. A triple kill on the round for Audacity, and he's just solely... He's the only reason that Miami have put themselves back in this round. Mod is cornered off over by Office. He's going to have to make the long rotate over, giving Worm enough time to get the plant down, and it looks like Audacity knows about that position as well. Mod will take some shots over, not land on any, but it's post-plant. A 1v3, you've got a Buck who's going to position himself likely upstairs to play with that skeleton key. They've likely got intel on the plant as well. Worm's still full. Sure, Lulu's one shot, but the Zofia and the Nomad are playing in a very, very decent trade position, and Audacity's still on cool vibes, and oh no, the kitchen door is castled, so Mod, that entire rotate just went to waste, burning even more time off the clock. He's gonna peek into the bar, be able to trade back onto the Zofia, but Audacity quickly refrags a 4K for the man on a mission coming around through the hallway, freeing up that site for his team. Extremely well played there by the Buck.
Yeah, I don't even believe that the Wamai even had time after it hit around that 12-second mark. Even if he just sprinted straight at the diffuser and started diffusing, I think he would have fallen short on that retake here. And it mainly did fall on the inability to rotate through kitchen. That's where he wanted to go, and he wasted a good amount of time just to see that castle barricade blocking his path, which is
that was unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, yes.
Man.
But now we're going to go into round 6 of Coastline. This will be the last round in the half, which has been the Lulu show, to say the least, as he's now on 10-2. But Audacity picked it up just a little bit, as he was at that triple ones, the 1-1-1. But now he's at 5-1-1 on the back of that 4K, showing that maybe Lulu is not quite the only person on MU that can get some frags.
Yeah, that was definitely absolutely nuts from Audacity, and definitely, I guess, a bit of a lack of coverage from FIU to let him slip behind them completely unnoticed. Find not only the player by the shield, by default plant, but also the guy playing bar. Literally the 2 biggest positions to take as the attack fell completely for free, and then Audacity had the intel on the Jaeger, and from then that was the round done and dusted. So an excellent flank, just completely off the back of Audacity. Insane from him. And FIU, I think, are going to notice that, yeah, maybe that was due to a bit of a lack of intel. They're going to adapt. They're going to bring Mod on the Valkyrie. Strangely enough, the first time we've seen her on Coastline, which is typically one of her best maps.
Yeah, I would say Coastline and Consulate are the strongest Valkyrie maps. That's sort of the only areas where you actually see the operator being banned. She is very powerful in her instance. Of all 3 of those black ICAMs can be hidden away very easily, and it's going to make Soup on the IQ work just that little bit extra. He's going to be more and more important, as there's going to be those black eye cams feeding intel over and over again, continuously pinging, or probably not pinging, it's just going to be communications with, if anybody on the defensive side is dead, they're going to start cycling cams and start yelling out the positions of these attackers, especially when you have aggressive ones outside, such as in this instance. That cam that we saw Mod throw right outside the hookah door is going to alert any of the FIU players if it's going to be a push towards that side. However, it's most likely going to be an aqua push, especially when you have the air jab already placed above that door.
Yeah, can that cam see the window repel as well?
I don't believe so. I think he threw it in the corner.
Did?
Attackers have located a bomb.
I don't know. It might be able to. If it can, that's definitely a really good cam. As the cocktail wall will go down. Oh, there is an opening there. So it might be able to see that window. Downstairs clear from Miami. Definitely, pretty quick. Still a minute and a half left to go. The only thing though that I'm scared of for them is Jan is still in reception, and they're all pretty much leaving the office. So there's no coverage down there. As from the rappel, Soup will pick off Lyrid first. Worm follows up onto the very, very lit up mod. All you really need to do is sneeze on the Valkyrie, but a bullet to the head will do just fine. And that's again an opening 2K for Miami. And how many times has that happened this match? The smoke falling early isn't great. Valkyrie is C4, that's more plant denial off the board. Jan from Xbox at least has one, as Menti fells another player. Actually, Menti has a C4 too. So, I think, yeah, 3 C4s for FIU, so maybe the loss of that one isn't huge. Valkyrie's also got her Black Eyes out. Jan from Xbox, though, speaking of that player left alone downstairs unchecked, he'll find Audacity on the buck, and now we're back to even man count. That lead that FIU had gained, or sorry, that FIU had lost early in the round will come back, and that was an interesting engagement. Hibana just decided to walk into the site through Goyo Fire, got quickly shut down, and then the C4 from below from Jan found another, and Soup can't find the frag on Menti either. Florida International will tie up the half 3-3 due to, again, a lot of time being taken by Miami after those initial picks, and just a very poor execute, I'd say, is one word for it.
Yeah, I think the Hibana was just trying to do some Stewie 2K stuff, just trying to run straight through the fire and get in a position that they would not expect him to be in, but it didn't work out as Santa's gun just blasted him away, as well as you did sort of notice that the Mozzie was still underneath without any sort of they weren't pushing him. He felt no pressure, so he just popped the nitro cell and blasted away the player. We're going to be seeing Soup on flashing the Clash here, going to make sure that the shield operator might be in play and make that worry linger a little bit on the side of FIU, but he will be quickly 6th picked away, just trying to instill a little bit of fear.
Who's it going to be? Lamai?
Maybe a Doc? Oh, of Goya, okay.
Goyo. Okay. Well, yeah, Goyo's been the guy we've been seeing on a lot of these hookah billiards defenses, so it makes sense. So he'll swap to that. Mira is still up as well, and we have not seen her picked at all from FIU, so it's going to be up to Miami to see if they want to bring the Spanish operator. With the way these two teams are playing, though, it's been largely aggro. Mira does not really lend herself to that kind of play, especially when the attackers are being so thorough in their clears. But yeah, like you said, leaving Jan down there completely unchecked. Jan got the kill on the buck, and from there was like, oh, okay, that's it.
It's free real estate.
Pretty much. Get your damn land. And just up through the floor, got the C4 on that other player pushing, trying to support the Hibana, who, you know, through the fire and the flames, just decided to kind of walk in and not check for the Jaeger. So 3-3 at the half. I mean, honestly, that's what we see a lot on a coastline. It tends to be either, like, I don't know, I don't want to say either 4-2 the attack. We see a lot of 4-2s for the defense too, but I feel like 3-3 is definitely a very, very, very common split. So, you know, both teams are still absolutely still in this.
Yeah, it's just going to come down to whose guns are going to continue being hotter. We've seen Lulu be hot, and he's going to be on the Legion this time, doing a little bit of a soft roam, going to be continuously throwing out those goo mines to slow down any potential push, as well as give the audio sound cues to the rest of the players, as the first Goyo shield will now be popped over towards the default plant. And that will also make a hole from down beneath. Speaking of holes, the Hibana is going to be blasting open the wall here and trying to get Exert out of that default smoke area, and it will work. As we did talk about right at the beginning of the map, the ability to cut any rotations from that gigantic hole cut in the center of the map off of the roof is what makes this map so hard to defend. If you have a good player who's holding nice long angles and understands when the rotates are going to happen, it can spell disaster, and it makes a roam incredibly difficult, especially if you get a pick on site and you know the roamers have to come back. But now Jan will get the opening pick onto Exert, as now Lyrid, or we'll get onto Audacity as Lyrid picks up Exert, and now it's all the way down to a 3v5, and Lulu will now fall at the hands of Jan from Xbox. So he goes on a 2K, and Lyrid's actually getting the plant down, as now the Repel player is going to take out Soup, as Santa picks up one of his own and leave it all up to Worm, who will challenge that angle and get fried. Wow. As a flawless round comes out of FIU, showing that maybe just first round attacks are where the attackers are going. Both of these times after a switch, we've seen a flawless round coming out.
Jeez. Yeah, and again, Aggression's the name of the game. They just decided they were gonna push in, find their frags. The downstairs players did their jobs beautifully. Who was it that planted? Was it Menti or
It was
Lyric?
Lyrid on the plant.
It was Lyric. It wasn't. Oh, you both just said something different.
I'm pretty sure it was Lyrid on the Hibana was
Was it
planting.
Lyric? Carpe?
Yeah,
Actually, actually, we can find out. No, we can just you can flash the
I'll
scorecard
bet you $5
Carpe
Carpe.
because it lists. No, in the extended UI because it lists objectives. And there hasn't been a single defuse. It was Lyric. Wow, Carpe, you owe this man $5. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, the diamond. Okay, so let me just tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Carpe has just admitted to being drunk, first of all. And second of... No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I know, he's just joking. But second of all, he has been by far and away one of the best observers/producers I've ever worked with in you know... Well, you also produce a lot. He just now noticed that the diamonds next to their KDAs in the extended scorecard stood for objective. Carpe,
it's plants or diffusers.
My disappointment is immeasurable.
My day is ruined.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so if you actually look over on the left scorecard, such as you see in the top left of your corner with excerpt, that goes kills, assists, deaths, then objectives. Right after that diamond, that is the either plants or diffuses. So planting the diffuser or disabling the diffuser will net you a +1 after that diamond. If you look over in the bottom right corner, Lyrid, he's the only one that has, actually Worm has one as well.
Yeah, Worm
They're
had
the
a
only
plant
ones
the
actually
other
playing the objective because Coastline is just so frag heavy. Every round just sort of ends with who gets the kills.
Carpe, did you also know it is a diamond because of the bomb sites? The little A and the little B is written inside a diamond. See how that works? It's cool. Thank you, Yuvi. But like you said, Lyrid and Worm, there's only been 2 plants in 7 rounds. Honestly, for Coastline, I still think that's usually what you see. Another thing that I wanted to point out about last round was the fact that when we saw Miami taking Aqua, as well, okay, Jan will just completely destroy Audacity on the room, taking out a C4 from below again. But Carpet, if we can real quick highlight the cocktail wall upstairs, where Hibana is currently ex-Kairos, which, speaking of Hibana, she'll fall. But see where the Hibanas are placed? That was not where Exert was placing his. Exert was placing his more towards the middle right side of the wall, which was really confusing because, like on the sun, like it was kind of like in the middle of the sun and to the right was where Exert was placing his, where Lyrid is putting it more towards the corner to take the smoke out. So I don't know why Exert was putting it over there. Lyrid, I think, has a little bit of a smarter position, but he is taken out before he can let it fall. Worm will also take out Menti, but Mod is getting the plant down completely uncontested. The gas canister is way too late. Mod will at least go down, but Santa finds Exert. A 2 versus 3, but it's post-plant with Miami in the disadvantage. Soup trying to retake downstairs. Does Jan know he's coming from the doorway? Wallbang's coming out because of the ping. The skeleton key close will actually almost completely whiff. Upstairs, Lulu and Jan will trade, so it's all up to the Buck. Going on the rappel now, that is a very, very safe position to play with, and Lulu looks in the wrong direction. Jan from Xbox gonna finish off the round of the 1v1, and man, how did Mod...
That's a great shot.
Get in there? Mod just walked in behind the bomb chassis.
Yeah, I think once they got Aqua control, they just sort of were like, oh, they must have droned a little bit and just knew and flew straight in. And yeah, there was just a whole lot of vertical presence from down below, and that did not translate to the horizontal control that FIU was able to take quite quickly, as they now take the lead at 5-3, and they're going to look to continue to push forward and take their own map pick. Jan from Xbox is now caught up to Lulu in kills, as they are on 11 and 10 kills respectively. Yeah. They're definitely having a strong showing on these operators here. One on the Zofia, who's now switching on over to a more passive castle role, as we'll see Jan from Xbox using the Canadian soft breacher to full effect. But he blasted away with that master key, as he was also able to just fly up the rappel and get a wonderful shot on the Legion for the final kill of that round.
Really close to. I thought he was going to lose that fight for a second.
Bomb located by
It was
attackers.
really scary. He got really lit up in the process, but hey, a 3K is a 3K, so good job by Jan clutching up that round for his team. As well as too, the Zofia finding the kill upstairs was
10
really,
seconds to go.
you know, pivotal. If Zofia doesn't trade herself out
Attackers
one for one,
location of a bomb.
or
5 seconds.
or sorry, if the Buck doesn't trade out his teammate immediately one for one, I guarantee that round would have probably gone to the favor of the defense, just because Jan was so lit up by the bandit as well. So I don't know. It's wait, put what? I would assume because it's in like it does the column.
Yeah, I think it does
I mean, it
top.
goes through the floor of the consulate. So I mean, I would assume.
I would assume it cuts off cool vibes. The top
Yeah.
of cool vibes.
Attackers have dropped the bomb diffuser.
Oh, Exert gets the nice initial spawn peek on Deliried, and that's the hard breach in the diffuser going down. That's going to make holding that spot area just that little bit easier for the Smoke, who's now rotated over behind Bar. That was a wonderful angle coming out, as we have seen these SMG-11s come out in full effect from the Miami side. They're comfortable on the guns, as well as Soup is comfortable flying on outside, and it will not connect, as he's going to use his C4 to try to open up an angle onto the kitchen jump in. However, I do believe he's already missed the player who's jumped in, which is unfortunate. Actually, another one's going to be rotating over to this window, and they might not know. Mod might lack the critical information here, as he's going to peek out and actually slam Soup. He does know. He was not lacking the critical information, as he's going to go ahead and free fire over on that angle and continue to try to go over upstairs. He's going to be using his IQ gadget above to start taking away these mute jammers, as well as any ADSs from the hands of the Jaeger, as it will make it execute just that little bit easier. He's going to accompany in Jan from Xbox pushing in, as Menti's going to go ahead and take out some cams and start placing those air jabs to prevent any sort of retake ability on the side of Miami, who at a 4-4 are a little bit still in the driver's seat. They have the Smoke still on the board, as well as a nitro cell in the hands of the Worm. They're both playing over here, but now Exert will fall, and that's the Smoke that I just mentioned, as Santa gets really aggressive on that the Sunrise Bar window, and he's just going to jump straight in. He's uncontested, as the aggression is here. He's going to push in and take out Worm. It's all left up to Lulu and Audacity, and it's a 4v2. They're holding a similar angle, as the roof is just being blasted away over and over again, and the trades go out as Mod and Menti pick up one apiece, and it's another round on the side of FLU and FIU, and they're going to take it to match point.
Wow, so 2 for Mod, 2 for Santa, 1 for Menti. Dude, Mod is just a knower. I wonder if that was a drone, or maybe he heard the C4 and assumed, because you know the Mod was detected outside too, so he knew that he jumped into VIP. The C4 was likely heard, and I guess the game sense from Mod just went out there, and the Zofia was yeah, that was nuts, and the Zofia taking out the Smoke and then was largely just uncontested, just jumped right into the site, down to the Jaeger. Her kill was stolen, unfortunately, by I
believe it was Menti picked it up.
By Menti, yeah. How dare you,
Yeah.
Menti? That could have been a 3K. But still, wow, that was absolutely nuts. And they put themselves on map point for their map, which again, it's not the worst for MU if they lose this, because this was FIU's map pick, but I don't know, the comeback is definitely going to be hard pressed, as they have not won a single defense round yet. It's been 3 in a row on the actually coming off of the last half as well. It's actually been 4 in a row. 3 of those rounds coming on FIU's attack, and they just look after that transition, they just look unstoppable.
Yeah, they've definitely woken up, and they're going to continue this momentum over and over again. And like we've said so many times, FIU, the way Coastline comes down to is who's winning their gunfight. And when you have the momentum, you have the confidence, you're swinging with your chest, you're clicking your heads, you're taking map control aggressively, that's going to translate directly into 1 rounds, and that's what we've seen thus far from Florida International. They're just going to continue trying to ride high on this momentum and close out this map and push straight into map 2.
Yeah, and I mean,
Attackers are heading out to
like you said, momentum plays a huge part in Siege. If FIU win this round, and even if they take like two in a row on Cafe, that's huge. that just shows that their momentum is just going to keep carrying them through the match, and momentum plays a big deal in your team chemistry, how well you guys are working together, how
Attackers
hyped
have
you guys
located a
get,
bomb.
how your confidence in your gunfights, how much you believe and trust your teammates too. That's a big thing. And the more rounds you string together in a row, the greater that grows and the better you play as a team until Miami are able to effectively find some way to shut that down. Now remember, Lulu was on 11 kills on round 6, I believe.
Either 6 or 7.
Yeah, she was. I say she. Lulu. I don't know. I said she because Lulu is like stereotypically a female
Lululemon.
name. Lulu was on 10 frags on round 5. Didn't get another till the retake from Jan. So until round 7, and then has not found a single pick in the past 3 either. So a lot of those kills that Lulu has gotten have been largely impactless, as again the Hibana X-Car is going to come on the cocktail wall, just exert, feel the pressure. Audacity takes out some of them, so not a full hole opened, but still, that's going to cut off a lot of Exert's rotatability, as Santa actually doesn't find that kill, strangely enough, and Audacity downstairs. He'll shut down Menti. Actually, not upstairs, coming back up luggage. We'll shut down Menti. The Nomad falls. Hopefully, Menti got air jabs out before he was crushed. But I think definitely to Santa not being able to clean up Soup. If Soup gets... He's playing very aggressive, too. If Soup gets anything out of this, those missed shots from Santa might just be the clincher in this round.
So some more shots are coming out of luggage as Monty will
What?
rip the head off Audacity with a wonderful shot. He's actually going to pick up a second while he's very lit, showing you don't need the HP advantage if you're going to hit the heads. But Soup's position is not known, as he will pick up Lyrid, and Mirad will instantly refrag as he's on a 3K for the round, and it's a 2v3 instance. There's no Nitro Cell on the board, but the smoke still does have all 3 canisters left in the bag, and he's playing in that default area. He's going to be able to use that clipping effect to its full impact, as now Mod is going to have to rotate out and pull out one of those air jabs. Jan from Xbox is holding the rotations. He does know a player's playing in Sunrise, as Lulu will take out Santa on that repel. Exert's going to just continue to go here, but it's going to be a clutch situation as the Legion will be down. It's all up to Exert, and this map hands and is in the balance as he will fly out and drop down Mod. It's a 1v1. It's Jan from Xbox. There's only 5 seconds left, and he doesn't have the diffuser. He's going to have to come up cool vibes, and he's going to hit that goo mine, spelling the end of the round, as he's just continuously slowed, and the passive peek out of Exert really won that round quite well in a nice clutch situation.
So Soup wasted a fair bit of time in the corner of Aqua after the shots were missed. They mulled about for a very long time. IQ said, screw it, I can't plant pool. I'm going to rotate around. In my mind, the big throw there from FIU was Jan still trying to get the smoke through the floor after his teammate was down. I don't know why. I don't know why he spent all that time downstairs trying to find the pick when he's obviously moved out of that position in cocktail, because that wasted a good 5 to 10 seconds that he could have spent rushing up the stairs to try and find that final frag because he didn't have diffuser control. So unfortunate there, a good holdout for Miami in that clutch situation, but Ying is gonna rear her head now.
Who we love the Ying meta. Thankfully,
No,
Ubisoft
am I?
listened to our wails and cries as she was given a 4th Candela. She's back down to her normal 3. However, she does have smokes now, and that's still a whole lot of utility with 3 of those Candelas. Each of them has about 4 or 5 flashbangs within them, as well as I actually have 7, as I'm being told. Numbers are hard. There's at least 9 of them. There's a whole lot of flashing going on. If you just look at a white screen, you know there's a Ying coming in. And she also does have a buffed LMG, which does a whole lot of damage in the right hand as well. So FIU is going to be trying to finish this out once again, as they are on that 6-point threshold. MU Miami cannot make any mistakes. Their backs are against the wall for this map, as they're going to be trying to take it off of Florida International. It is their map pick, so they do expect to win it, but anything can happen in Siege, and that's what makes it such a wonderful game. And they will be defending Blue Bar, which is not the strongest site.
Yeah, I think if FIU are going to take the map, it could definitely be right here. Remember, last time they attacked this site, it was a lot of early picks going back and forth, especially that kill, felling the player upstairs and just access into Sunrise for FIU to take the round. So Miami are definitely going to try, have a little more livelihood if they want to take this. But speaking of, it's Lulu to fall first. Lulu was at least playing Castle, so it's not the biggest operator in the world. But what I'm scared of is that Mod, he has definitely started to heat up. He had a very, very slow game to start off, and he's now put himself on 8 and 7 within the past, really the past few rounds. And
I think he was at 1 and 5 at one point.
Yeah, something like that, like 1 and 5 or 2 and 5 or something, and he's woken the hell up, gunning for his team as well as Jan. 11 and 3 has been going nuts, nearly matching Lulu's record. So I don't know, FIU, Miami were at least able to stop the bleeding, but I don't know if that's enough to. I don't know if that's enough to cause a momentum shift back in their favor with the way that FIU have been playing.
Yeah, they've sort of stopped a little band-aid on the hemorrhaging of what they're doing right now, but the momentum is still flowing out towards the side of FIU. Maybe they need a little bit of Flexio to fully seal up that, but Lear is going to go for the smoke plant as he just jumps straight in the window, but Worm will take out a Santa with the Nitro Cell, but he doesn't know that the diffuser's down. Now the Ying is close here and will be just proned right on the bomb as Audacity picks up a kill onto Mod, but Menti does take out Worm. It's a post-plant situation. It is 3v2. It's all up to Exert and Audacity as a smoke canister is going out, and Leard will take a good amount of damage from that, but he's still sitting on the diffuser, and Audacity is nowhere to be found. It's sort of all up to Menti in this instance as he will now jump and take this onto the triple kill, but Menti will trade out onto Audacity, leave it all up to Exert, as now he has 2 players to find. And Jam from Xbox is just going to blast away with that Master Key shotgun and take the map for FIU.
Menti definitely waking up in that round, finishing with a 3K on the Nomad. Lyrid as well, man. Again, there's been 2 free plants for FIU so far this game. Once where Mod just crouch walked into pool and planted behind the bomb chassis when the smoke grenade was way too late. This time, same thing. Lyrid just walked in through the window. Smoke canister was way too late.
I think it was the Nitro Cell because they got a pick on the Nitro Cell towards where the bomb was going down.
I wonder if they
believed that they 100% thought like, oh yes, we dropped diffuser, and then like 2 seconds later, oh, we're in a post plan. Uh-oh. And then once you have that little bit of confusion, it is a hard mountain to climb.
Yeah. And Lyrid just sitting on that diffuser like a chicken on an egg was just Smoke took so much time to try and clear that out. I didn't even know about the position until the gas came out either. And from their post plant, the post plant and the double bar, especially at that position, is super difficult to try and take back. But you were asking for a quick 5-minute break, so we are going to take a short intermission. Probably only about 5 minutes as we set up the next map, get all the players ready. So don't go anywhere. We will be back and see if Miami can answer on map 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CEA Open League Grand Finals. We had a very, very exciting map 1 between FIU and MU. Coastline went the way of Florida International 7-4. It was definitely a map with a lot of heat. Definitely coming down to frags. Every round was pretty damn exhilarating. So we're going to move on to Cafe, MU's map pick, see if they have a response for FIU's victory. FIU will start on the defense yet again, as they were able to pick their side because this is MU's map. First ban going to come from FIU, would not be surprised if it's Thatcher, and it's going to be Thatcher, as it is literally every first ban I've ever seen on Cafe.
Yeah, Thatcher's just such a strong operator. As the British boy has a really great kit. You
Yeah.
can either use the L85 or the AR-33, whichever one you decide. Both are great rifles, as well as having those 3 EMP grenades in the back pocket. Pretty much counters almost every single defender.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, MU were the ones who banned Ash, and it did literally nothing. But
Well,
they'll
they're
ban
gonna ban the
Thermite
Thermite.
instead. Thermite, despite them starting on attack, is definitely interesting, as Thermite is the primary hard breach on Cafe. And that means we're likely going to be seeing a lot of Maverick.
Yeah, especially when you have walls such as in kitchen that you can sort of bandit trick if you don't get that upstairs train control. You can bandit trick Abana charges so much easily, and you can even Kaid trick them if that's who you want to bring. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a Cade ban right here. Actually, Valkyrie will be banned out. Typically, I would have expected to see the Kaid ban accompany the Thatcher ban, because it is going to be very, very difficult to get that freezer hatch open and sort of put any pressure on the backside of site if you go downstairs to kitchen. But most likely, we're going to see FIU starting up top, because that upstairs site is just so strong. Yep, we're going to see third floor bar and cocktail lounge, which I believe is one of the strongest sites in the game. Except maybe
I think
throne room of theme park.
yeah, and I think the statistics support your claim as well on Bar Cocktail. And another interesting thing to point out is Mira is left on the board, but Mira is way better on Cafe than she is on Coastline. And
we're
she's
gonna be seeing it.
immediately going to be played by Jan from Xbox. So you take out one Intel operator, the Valkyrie, and you got to deal with maybe one that caused a little more of a headache, as we've not only got Mira, we've also got Castle and Jaeger and the Mozzie Mute combo. How many times do we see Mozzie Mute Castle? After SSG started running this, it's just trickled down everywhere, and people have really made that trio their own.
Yeah, it's just so versatile. All operators, they bring so much utility, and especially once you gave Castle that super shorty shotgun, he yoinked it straight off of the Mozzie. But it does supplement his kit so much better. You can get away with bringing a bulletproof cam if you really want to, but having those impacts in is just going to make it all that much easier to redesign the site to be exactly how you want. Also, we'll maybe have the ability to maybe blast open and try to impact trick away some Habana charges if he is in an advantageous position. That could be an interesting interaction we see. But mainly, we're going to see this long angle over towards White Cocktail being opened all the way into Piano, and that's where the Mira is going to be playing. I love this strat. Typically, you want to bring an ACOG, but if you have a confident player, maybe playing on 4-3, using one of those 1x sites, it's going to open up really long angles in that choke point kill box of Piano, which is so crucial to get control of as an attacker, is going to be so difficult to push in forward on.
And they've got the other one watching Cigar Doorway. A Piano push is definitely going to be very, very difficult unless they can open these mirror windows. The one on the double door on Cocktail can be taken out from below. You're gonna have to do a little more work to take out that freezer one though. And it's our FIU already with their setup is looking really good. It's up to try and disrupt it. And curiously enough, instead of bringing the Maverick, they're gonna take just the Hibana. Instead picking up Jackal. Now, Jackal, Cafe is definitely a good Jackal map, don't get me wrong. It's just usually, other operators are played in place of him. After that rework, he's not typically the, 80% influence between picks and bans that we used to see from him. So he's definitely kind of cooled off a little bit. Interesting to see him being brought, but it's Soup on the IQ to find Santa first, making his entry. The Piano, he'll fail the Jaeger very early, almost catches the Mirror on the rotate, but from above, oh no, he doesn't finish off Exert, lights him up, certainly, but unfortunately can't finish the kill, and because of that, Menti's position now going to be scanned out and known downstairs.
As the Castle's trying to swing and get rid of those pesky X-Cairo pellets, he's not going to be able to get enough as he tried to overpeak once again, but Audacity's going to try to fly on in again and get this really long angle. However, it's going to be very difficult to use that X-Cairo's launcher and thread that needle through and try to take away Jan from Xbox on that powerful position we've been talking about. But here we're going to see Exert go up the stairs, but Jan from Xbox is going to hear those footsteps and drop it down. However, he will be refragged as he drops here, as Audacity picks up one, and so does Soup. Now there's a Nitro Cell going to drop the planter, but it doesn't connect, and Soup will pick up Lyrid as he goes on to a triple kill, and it's all left up to Menti, and he has to rotate from upstairs. Side control is completely in the hands of the Miami attackers, and the Nitro Cell is gone. The track stingers are covering up the backside here, and he's going to have to make a little bit of noise as Menti will pick up one on the hands of Soup, but will take a little bit of damage here, and his position is now known as he's going to walk into a whole entourage of ACOGs as a Worm takes out the fellow Australian operator here and takes round one for Miami.
So MU saw the Mira setup and we're like, okay, we have Hibana. Instead of opening the breach, what we're going to do is use our X-Kairos to take out your mirror windows instead. And by doing so, especially because of the weapons that were holding that upstairs, you had, you know, a Mira with a Vector, a UMP, and an SMG-11. Those long angles become the attackers. It is very hard to challenge as the defense, and MU definitely used that to their advantage, allowed for the aggressive pushes that they were using, and then, you know, by then it was unfortunately the C4 missed the planter, and it was a 1v4 retake. Now, it was pretty damn near undoable for Menti, so they'll try again. Same exact operators, so hopefully a switch up of the play style. Especially too, picking off that Jackal early would have definitely helped, would have kept Menti, maybe his position largely unknown, as it was a Jackal track that spotted him out. And I'm curious too as to why they didn't have any mute jammers down protecting the mirror windows, which it seems like Lyrid is going. Yeah, Lyrid's going to do that now. Previously they didn't, which was definitely questionable. Really aided the attack and, you know, being able to open those up and take control of those long sight lines. But who knows? Maybe those jammers there preventing the easy open are the change they need.
Yeah, personally, I would think that you would take the Echo here and allow the Echo with the ACOG of that MP5SD to hold those long angles. However, if Jam from Xbox is comfortable in blasting away with the Vector, which is not necessarily the best long-range weapon, because it's a bit of a pea shooter, you've got to get the head shots there, but it is a little bit of a jet engine turbine with that high fire rate. However, we're going to see Lyrid holding over towards Bathroom, pushing in continuously as the drones are going to peep on, pushing through on Piano, trying to help MU get a little bit of map control, find out if it's a very similar setup to what they just came up against, or find the little bit of nuances and tweaks that have come out from the FIU side.
Yeah, so far, I don't know if Lyrid was playing this as aggressively last time with the mute, but that might be another change. Menti as well. He's still downstairs, but you've also got someone in reading. It's going to be, actually, sorry, I saw Menti was on the Mozzie last round. It's going to be Santa who's downstairs. Menti's on Jaeger this time. A drone will spot him out, so they know exactly where he is. It's Soup, though, who's going to collect the kill as Menti looks the right way, then the wrong way. And that was just unfortunate. So Soup will yet again get an opening frag, spotted out by the cam, and that might be what the castle needs. His position left unchecked, but it's Santa actually to collect on the IQ. IQ for Jaeger, that's a pretty decent trade, I'd say. You've lost a lot of utility. You've lost, you know, through the floor, being able to destroy pests and jammers and ADSs and stuff like that. But still a lot of time on the side of Miami, and, you know, the last time they pushed this again, they were able to just take into the site virtue of those really long angles being held by the ACOGs. But this time, they do have jammers on the mirror windows, and because of that, I don't believe they've been opened up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when they're going to run into the castle barricades over towards this pixel corner. They're going to have to waste a little bit more utility as Lulu blasts it away with the lifeline. But Lyra's going to be trying to blast away close range with that M590 shotgun that we see all the British operators use. He still does have an SMG-11 in his pocket, and a little bit of tracking's going on down the stairs as Exert sees those red footprints and knows that Santa is laying in wait quite close, but that's going to force him back upstairs. But having an extra nitro cell up on the top of White Stairs with about 30 seconds left is going to be very advantageous for the defenders as Lyra picks up another pick onto Audacity at the hands of that SMG-11, and he's going to have to go through Lulu as Lulu's peeking over towards White, getting a little bit of a pre-fire going on, but Lyra's getting shot from all sorts of different angles. But there's only 20 seconds left as more wallbangs are going out. Santa's going to pick up Lulu, leaving it all up to Exert and Worm. Worm is very lit on HP, but he does have the diffuser. He's going to have to continue pushing in, and we'll get fried off of Jan from Xbox. Long angle with the mirrors. He's going to pick up 2 headshots and end the round and tie it back up for FIU.
Really well played by Jan in the back with that mirror. Wow, that was a nice shot. And they'll hold on. So a little bit of a different play, a little bit of a heavier investment in the roam, and a lot of because of that, it was a lot more time taken by MU, especially to the jammers on the mirror windows, preventing them from being opened. That was huge. Didn't let the attackers take easy control of those sight lines. I think there was actually there was still like 4 people alive for the defense. I think the only frag that came off the attack was that very first one.
Yeah, there was just the
yeah.
initial pick downstairs, and then the rest of it just fell through. It wasn't quite enough coming out, but we're going to see going all the way downstairs to kitchen service and kitchen cooking, and we're going to see a pretty interesting site setup coming out from FIU. If I do remember, they don't fully reinforce off kitchen, and they make a really big horizontal hold with a whole lot of mobility going on. There's a whole lot of fluid dynamics popping in, and it really makes it difficult to know exactly where to push on this site, especially when you have a bunch of utility dump operators such as the Jaeger and the Wamai, all being able to hold down positions and make you waste all of that precious utility, such as the flashbangs and the grenades, to push through and get them out of these positions. I do believe that they make the rotate hole on the back? They actually don't. No, they actually don't. I thought I remembered them doing that. Maybe it's the Miami side that does that.
10 seconds to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is, I'm surprised. That's typically what you see with a mute and a Wamai. Like, they'll play behind the shield, they'll take, VIP, have someone playing in bar and coat check and, like, cover that horizontally instead of challenging upstairs. They do have a lot of C4, though. They've got 3. They've got Pulse, Bandit, and Mute, all playing down on site as well. So Pulse is just going to continually be able to spot out players right above them and call out C4s for his team. So, I mean, if I don't see at least 1 C4 kill, definitely going to be a little bit disappointed with the Pulse and the C4 play from FIU. So hopefully we'll see one as it's mod to hold Bakery. That is a style of play that we don't really see too often anymore. It came out in spades once this map was first reworked, and it's kind of slowly fallen off because once you burn those ADSs and once you get the cross from Wedding, there's really nothing the Jaeger can do, especially when he tries to fall back. But Mod is just going to keep challenging it. Instead of actually wide swinging the door, going to miss his shots on Lulu, and now they know he's there, but it's through the floor. Soup will just find Jan from Xbox immediately, and the mute will go down. And that's one of your C4s off the board. That's an early pick on the board. That's your prep player with the shotgun no longer going to be there. And that's a really early man advantage now for Miami.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of almost like a missed drone, quote unquote, on defense from Menti, as he should have been looking upstairs, and sort of Audacity's, or Soup actually in this instance, his position shouldn't have been sort of unchecked in that instance. It was a little bit of a surprise, but same with the surprise coming out as Soup picks up another from those vertical holes. But I do think that's a worthy trade. Taking out 2 players at the price of 1, Menti now had to waste the C4 to blast his feet away from down under with that explosive brick that we see. But Menti will now get another refrag onto Exert as he's picked up 2 this round, and it's all the way back to a 3v3, as now the player sitting behind Cafe is going to he actually would down the player as downs
Ooh.
2 as he's making his impact known, as now Lulu will pick up the kill and leave it all up to Audacity in a 1v2. His position is known due to the cardiac sensor coming out of the pulse, as well as a little bit of a magnet throw here, trying to mitigate any impact that the Maverick might have with his grenades. He's going to take a whole lot of bullets coming out of Menti, and that UMP will rip through him, but the Wamai, actually Menti will finish up the kills as he gets 3 for that round and sort of brings that round back from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, that was definitely down to that 2K refrag from Menti. Unfortunately, that entry that Soup had, nothing really going to come of it, as Menti just decided he was going to take things in his hands and say, "No, MU, you cannot have control of this. I'm sorry, it is mine." And that's going to be Kitchen going the way of FIU. Something else to note too is, so last map, we were talking about how aggressive Coastline is. The opening kills were largely the opening engagements, like who was winning their opening engagements, was very, very split evenly amongst the teams. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Defenders, protect your
6 out of the 10 rounds, it actually went to MU. And so far, all 3 openings have gone to Soup, but only 1 round has come of it. I think that definitely tells to, despite early aggression from these teams, it's really about if you can answer back, and really about the mid-round adaptations, which so far, if we take last map as an example, FIU have been a little bit better on.
Yeah, but we're going to have to see sort of an interesting strategy coming up from Jan from Xbox, as he's utilizing that sort of utility closet to put a mirror window on, and that means for that position to be useful, his fellow players upstairs are going to have to be strong and hold on as long as they can, because as soon as that hatch above him, which is probably going to remain soft, is broken, yep, it actually will be fully open. He's going to be in quite a lot of danger if he wants to play this, as well as the castle barricade locking him in if he chooses to play there. It's most likely going to be the sort of ability to have a late plant denial opportunity, not necessarily an area to play in off of the start, as Jan from Xbox is also going to be playing upstairs, utilizing the very similar mirror window that we saw watching the cocktail door when they defended third floor.
Mod is going to completely destroy Exert. The Jackal goes down early. Unfortunately, Exert still on 0 frags. A good kill by Mod, taking out the ITA-12S. That secondary shotgun, no more soft, a little bit less soft, but you still got the buck. But Smokes as well off the board. Jackal tracks off the board. We saw him use it pretty well to spot out, Menti in the first round. He got a little distracted by the ones in pillars on their second go around of the site. He saw the red feet, started wanted to sniff them. The red footprints means they smell spicy. But Mod will get his second onto Audacity. That's 2 frags now for the castle, completely left unanswered. One of your hard breachers now down. And Mod is just going to continue to aggro, peeking the windows now, as he assumes there's going to be a player on the rappel at least soon. It's going to be Soup, but he does have players to cover, but no, the run out comes. Unfortunately, it is going to be caught. So Jan will fall, doing a lot of damage to Worm in the process, though. And honestly, if I'm Miami, I might not expect another, and no one's covering. Mod, take the opportunity, but no, he'll get droned out, and it's too late. But Soup is going to jump out. He'll fell the buck. A triple kill for Mod, just swinging right into the UMP. And now it's Worm who's very lit up. Things are largely going to fall on the back of Lulu to make stuff happen, as he's on full HP. He's got a much better gun as well. He can play a little more aggressively. He's going to drone out the top floor. Mod is still there. Mod is just chilling. He knows that he can just continue to hold on to this position, and there's he's going to have to be pushed, and there's not a lot of time left on the board for Miami to work with either. The Jaeger will go down to a good flank hole from Worm, but Mod finds a quad kill, taking down Lulu upstairs. It's all up to the Nomad on barely any HP. Will the runoff find the ace? No, Lyrid! Why would you do that?
Oh,
You see, Mod's upset too. He knifes his teammate, Lyrid. Why would you do that?
wow. He may have had
Almost
the
aced
UMP.
with the worst gun in the game.
Oh, the Florida man of Mod was trying to make headlines in that instance as he took out 4 with the UMP, and he should have gotten the 5th. but it was unfortunate. Leard got a little bit too aggressive and just said, "Hey, I want the kill. No ace for you."
I guarantee the comms were deny the ace, deny the ace.
No,
I
no, no,
guarantee that's what the
no.
comms were. So, oh, the laundry one? One way from insight into the hatch? Okay, so Carpe is telling us that laundry mirror window as well, if it's open, is actually a one-way from inside sight looking up into the hatch. So, I mean, even if it's opened, that could still be a pretty decent pick, from the defense. But yeah, that was just, like, again, like, how many times do we see
Attackers need to
rounds
locate and
come
defuse
down
as many
to
bombs as they can.
everyone trying to pressure out one guy, but doing it one at a time and just losing your fights? That happens
Yeah,
so often, and it happened that time. Mod was just better in literally every engagement, and Miami just didn't push as a unit. That's gonna cause them to lose the round due to one dude with an up.
yeah. Mod is definitely heating up as he's now 5-2, as he also has 4 assists to his name. He's accounted for 9 kills if you want to count it that way, and that's a
Yeah,
good
wow.
start as we push into round 5. And Florida International is going to try to continue out their lead as they get to go upstairs to the 3rd floor bomb site. They're going to look to make it 4-1 and continue riding this momentum. They're going to try to ride this train all the way home, as if you get a 4-2 split on defense, that's sort of default, but as you push into the 5-1 defensive side, that's when you know you're feeling comfortable and you're feeling yourself, and that's where Miami's going to have their backs against the wall just that little bit more. However, if they manage to win this round or the next one, which I believe should be downstairs in kitchen, if FIU is to win this, it will be just a little bit more tricky, and it's going to be a little bit more close, as you sort of can expect the double 4-2 splits going back and forth.
Located by attackers.
So I thought Exit was gonna hot breach for a sec.
But he does go and breach away that window and make Jan from Xbox play a little bit more passive. He's going to have to tuck himself in that corner to be safe from the upside down repelled player on that window if they choose to hold that position. However, he could be quite vulnerable to an aggressive run out if one of these players, such as Menti, wants to just fly straight out that white window or out of that doorway over near reading. Could spell disaster if somebody's going to try to be on that repel, as well as Mod utilizing a really nice long angle with that UMP, watching over towards the new balcony. Hot drop, blasted away just a couple areas here, and that is a very powerful position and very hard to win the gunfight, especially if you don't expect it, such as you're going to have all of your attention diverted over towards that mirror window. You might over peek here, but Soup's going to get the initial pick onto Lyrid, and getting another entry as Exer will finally take out Jan from Xbox, ending his reign on the mirror, as another shot's going to come out of Audacity, picking up Menti, leaving it all up to Mod and Santa, but Santa's on the flank here, and Mod doesn't have a whole lot of XP. Soup will pick up Mod once again, as he's going to actually take out the gridlock here and drop the diffuser on the ground, but now his position is known, and it's a 1v4 clutch potential. There's no more Candelas on the side of Soup to try to sort of pop flash himself in, so they're going to have to take the aim duels. Actually, Santa will just go ahead and fall back to be a little bit more passive. Maybe actually he's going to push right up, as there's not any gridlock tracks blocking his path, and the Soup does have the diffuser, and he's going to try to get a plant over here, as Santa will pick up another one from behind and drop the diffuser once again, as that's the second one. As he gets the third one, Santa's popping off, getting the triple kill, delivering death to all the little boys and little girls on Christmas Day, as now the Lulu's going to try to push up behind him, as they're going to try to get a little bit of a flank, but he will hit the air jab here, as Audacity will deliver some coal to Santa and end his reign, as it was a very good effort on the 1v5 clutch, but it wasn't quite enough.
Man, what a disappointing way to end that. Hit by an air jab, man. That's gotta
So
suck.
anticlimactic. Oh,
Dude, you could see he was feeling himself. He got 3. Taking he only took like
all
1 bullet in
headshots.
process. That was
Yeah,
so
it was fine.
doable. Like, that was a minute 15 in that 1v4, and he put it down to a 1v2. That was so well played by Santa, and then he's got shut down by an air jab. That was just
That's the
Absolutely.
power of the Nomad. They had the Nomad and the
Yeah.
Hibana, or and the Gridlock, pardon me, which just both flank denials. It's really going to try to mitigate the impact of this deep roam that they're going on. But speaking of deep roam, we haven't really seen it come out on Kitchen, as most of these players did sort of sit on site in a more anchor-heavy setup. And that's what ended up working off of the hands of the Pulse, just
Attackers need to
using that
locate and defuse
UMP.
as many
I guess
bombs as they
Minty's
can.
just or actually it was Mod on pardon me, it was
Yeah.
Mod on the other time with the UMP, but Menti still was quite good. He got a Nitro Cell and I believe 2 still with the UMP. FIU is
Yeah.
just comfortable on that gun, call him Canadian. But
I think
for the
something
rest
else to point out. Something else to point out is Lulu was 12-8 last map. Top frag this team. Has not found a kill in 5 rounds.
which just like we said, Siege is such a mental game, and it's
Yeah.
just can you push through and can you dig yourself out of the hole? Lulu started off with the hot hand and he started to cool down just a little bit. However, at any given moment, he could just wake up and blast away with an ace. That's the thing about Siege. If you hit your heads, you hit your heads and you get the kill. So it's very forgiving or unforgiving in that instance where the gunplay is just very technical and difficult here, as well as you're sprinkling in all sorts of utility. It's a cluster, and that's exactly what we're going to see over here towards Bakery, as there's going to be a whole lot of utility dump as all the flashbangs and grenades are going to blast on through and pave way for Worm to flash himself in with the Candelas. And Mod's playing really aggressively over towards the prep door, and his position might not be fully known as they expect him behind the bar. But he could swing really aggressively and catch somebody off guard, as now Worm's going to be throwing in the Candelas after all the utility's gone, but he's going to swing out, pick up one, but we refragged out as Lulu picks up his first kill. Maybe he has woken up, but Santa's going to refrag over onto Soup, utilizing that beautiful Black Ice Aug to a full effect, and it's already down to a 3v4, and it's not even the 2-minute mark. This is a really fast round going on, as Minty's going to be shooting away the floor, opening up an angle for Santa to utilize the vertical play that we've seen Soup do last round, as now the air jabs are going to block off a little bit of rotations over towards prep and make this service entrance a little bit safer to set up in.
I think a big thing about that too is, yeah, you can clear off the anti-breach utility from the walls, but you've lost Hibana. You've lost your hard breach on a kitchen attack. You're going to have to funnel in through these choke points, which FIU should be more than ready for. And it's looking, honestly, unless Miami pull out something absolutely insane, I'm seeing a 4-2 half, as Santa's position appears to be unknown on red stairs. Exert, though, he'll find Menti and shut down the pulse before he's downed. And Santa's coming in for the flank. Lyrid will finish off the downed player. Worm still got Candelas, though, and that'll really cause him to push in. Unfortunately, the Candela doesn't actually go into the site. He'll finally throw it in, vaulting through. His position actually not being covered until Lyrid on the prone peak will finish him off. Lulu finds the refrag, but it's a 1v2. All up to Santa and Jan. They're largely separated, though, so if Lulu can isolate these 1v1s, this is doable, but Lulu decides he's going to turn his back and vault through the window instead, exposing himself to Santa. And that's going to be a 4-2 split for FIU. Lulu picking up a little bit in that round, but it's not enough for, to take a round off FIU, who have been looking strong, very strong, coming off the last map. That round was probably the closest round we've had, but still, very well played by FIU. And Santa, I swear to God, if you stick the coward beard, we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah, that's going to be a very frustrating. Actually, Santa could be bringing the Christmas Santa Blackbeard scan, but I do believe he actually is going to pick it, as we get a little bit of intel coming out of Carpe,
Nope.
but
All
he
right, there we
will
go.
actually just switch onto the Ash that was banned away from him last time. He has reunited with the FBI SWAT.
The love of his life.
His love of his life, the beautiful Ash pick.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
So we're going to actually see it's actually a very heavy, sort of quick lineup, as there is 3 speeds on the side of FIU, signifying that they might want to go fast. They might be like Ricky Bobby and just fly straight in at Mach 1 with the ability to still have a little bit of flank denial on the hands of Menti, as well as smoke grenades if they want to get an execute going. But they're going to have to really be pressed to take Piano, especially when you have that Jaeger Castle lineup. And when you wrinkle in a little bit of bandit batteries coming out of Audacity, it's going to be very difficult because the only hard breach option you have is the Maverick, and that takes a good amount of time if you want to breach on into sight.
Yeah, so the Maverick does take time, but at least you can kind of avoid the anti-breach utility, which MU are definitely playing towards. They've got Mute, they've got Bandit. Well, they're bringing Echo, which we did not see at all from FIU, interestingly enough. But Miami aren't going to utilize the Mira either, so definitely a switch up in the play styles. Audacity and aggressive peek out pillars will down Mod, not finishing off the IQ. And speaking of Mod and Santa, they didn't have the best game on Coastline. Mod definitely started off slow. Santa was towards near the middle of the standings. They have definitely heated up. The cross from upstairs nearly finds Audacity. But Mod, he's been involved in 10 out of I believe like 25 of his team's kills. Santa will find the entry frag onto Audacity before Soup will trade out Menti. And what? Santa, what are you doing? You can't just sprint at White with no intel. Exert will completely shut down the Ashes push. A swift headshot that we rarely see on the 3-speed operator, but the Echo proves that it can happen. Then now 3v4 with Mod very, very lit up. Miami seem to have a relatively solid answer to this FIU attack.
Yeah, and I think the IQ does need to get inside and find those yokai camps, or else they are going to spell disaster for any sort of late push, as Exert is just going to become an attacker and start droning out for his roamers. It's going to be a little bit of aggression coming out as he's going to continuously peek down White stairs. He's actually going to utilize the intel himself, as Mod's just going to do a little bit of a silent entry, but not that silent, onto bottom White, trying to help out Jan from Xbox, who's blasting away that roof of reading, which is the floor of bar, making sure that nobody can sit there safely, because those positions are quite powerful in their ability to cut off multiple long angles and continue pushing here. But Soup still has piano control, as it does not seem as if anybody wants to challenge him here. Worm's playing over in Freezer, and Lulu's going to try to just keep on juggling around his position, as the Buck and him are playing a little bit of a game of peekaboo, as Mod is also looking through and finding all the utility that is still remaining.
Yeah, it's also really slow goings from FIU. They can't even find the castle on top of the bar stand, so Jan is really stalling out there. Mod is going to miss all his shots on Exert too. Exert comes away with full HP, and Florida International don't look like they're in a great position. Jan will finally find a kill through that floor. It's going to be Soup on the Jaeger as Mod makes his way in a bathroom, actually catches the Echo completely off guard. I don't think they expected them to push pallets and White that aggressively. A C4 comes out, that could be huge. It'll find Jan, but Mod on a C4 finds Lulu, and all of a sudden the advantage Miami had slips away. It's a 1v2 clutch situation for Worm, but he'll be followed by Lyrid swinging into the heaven window, and I don't know how FIU won that, but Miami just let that lead slip away from that rush up White, which through a chokehold like that should never be able to happen.
Yeah, the Claymore was that defining characteristic. That Claymore kill was the biggest one of the round, as that took away any sort of backside presence you had, any sort of flank potential. And as soon as they knew that there was nobody flanking, they just pushed right in and won their gunfights. As simple as that. They're feeling the hot hands, and they were clicking heads, and they were taking map control along with it. And as they push this to 2-5, it's not looking too great for Miami, as they're gonna have to rally and continue pushing forward and start stringing together some rounds on defense here, as they will opt for a little bit of a change up, going downstairs to the reading room fireplace hall site, which is a really interesting site in the way you sort of have to play it. As we saw a little bit of how FIU did it, you have to hold upstairs in a very similar fashion to what we saw last round on the 3rd floor. All of this area, that was, we see Worm breaking open that window to place a castle barricade. It's so incredibly important, because if you look, it's all wooden. You can blast open. You can open up the entire floor of site on B, and that's where you are going to want to try to get your plant down, and it is a very dangerous position to play once the vertical control is relinquished to the attackers. So you're going to be using a lot of utility and a lot of players upstairs, such as we're seeing Audacity, Excerpt, and Soup all playing upstairs, trying to slow down the attackers over and over again, and there's going to be a lot of battles going up in this area.
Yeah, and now, Mod has largely been at the forefront of a lot of these fights. He's 8 and 8-4-4. He's been involved in 12 out of 17, 21, 26 out of 30 kills. He is involved in more than a third of his entire team's engagements. He has definitely woken up from last map. Santa as well on 9 kills. He's leading his team right now, just in terms of finishers. So FIU have definitely the two big players that we were highlighting concerning the stats have definitely started showing up, and I think that's why we see such a massive lead from FIU, 5-2. Last map, the farthest it got was 5-3, and then it was 6-3. And Florida, though, Exert gonna take things into his own hands, though. He's gonna get the frag on the repelled player, but quickly traded back in Audacity.
Lyra just got fed.
Lyra just killed your other guy outside. I mean, you can hit some of this, though. It's a thing.
So unfortunate.
Yeah, like you said, Lyra just got fed,
on the
and
round.
He ate it all up.
That's two. Now that's two of the players upstairs gone, and it's all left up to Soup up there as Lulu is over towards the backside. Now a grenade's gonna go here as Soup's taking a whole lot of damage from the Ash coming up, and he can't handle the onslaught.
Wait, that was
As Lyra steals the kill and goes for his triple. He's smelling the blood in the water, and he's gonna be trying to push forward on the ace. And all he's gonna have to do is take out Worm and Lulu, who are down over near site. Lulu's playing Mining Room, and Worm is playing down aggressively in Reading. He's gonna be sort of in a very tough position as this floor is getting just blasted above him, as Lyra's going to start punching away this castle barricade as the sound cues are going to go off, and Santa will pick up Worm as he flies right into sight, but the Ash will be instantly refragged out by Lulu, but the crossfire is there, and Mozzarella falls at the hands of Jan from Xbox.
Wow, a beautiful 3K there for Lyrid, which, if I'm being honest, probably shouldn't have happened in the first place. 2 essentially free picks from those guys flying out the windows, swiping the kill away from the Ash there upstairs, and that was, like, one guy goes for the run out. I don't know what the logic was to try and follow it up. I guess they're looking for a trade, but in a situation where it's Reading, right?
Yeah.
Like you highlighted earlier in the round. It's almost like defending vents on border. Or like the middle floor on Consulate. Like you have to hold on to that upstairs for as long as humanly possible. Feeding the guy on rappel, gunning for the frag, and leaving one guy upstairs, not the play. Because even if you get that refrag, you're likely going to die before you make it back in pillars if there's proper coverage from the attack. Or at least, crossed on your rotate. So that was just really confusing from Miami, and it kind of shows, I think, that with the way FU have been playing, man, I think Miami might just be getting a little bit desperate.
Yeah, I think the logic I can the only logic I can see out of that is maybe they're trying to flash a little bit of aggression that FIU might not have been prepared for. They have been playing a little bit more passive, and they need to swing some momentum in their favor. Maybe if they were able to get some picks for free out of the windows, which is something they sort of haven't shown to FIU. That was sort of maybe the only logic I could have seen, but it did not pan out, as we saw Lyra just take out everybody upstairs. And that was just an unfortunate thing. But speaking of upstairs, we're going to be back on the 3rd floor bomb site. And this was a site that I do believe MU should have won last round. They sort of had a little bit of a choke action here. But they're going to be trying to rectify the mistakes that they made at this time and holding on for dear life as their backs are against the wall, as FIU has pushed to match point, series point, open league final point. And if they win this round, they take home the glory and first place. And Miami's going to have to string 4 rounds straight to bring this to overtime.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Miami. Like you said, they really, really should have taken this round. It was, not only was it a 3v4, but it was a 3v4 with Mod very, very lit up. 1 bullet's worth of HP and like 30 seconds left on the clock. But they allow the rush to come from White and Pallets. They just were not ready for it. And bodies fell left and right. And I don't know how Florida International came away with it, but they did. And now they're going back to bar. The trouble is, though, right? It's a 4-round deficit. Not 2, not 1. It is more than a full site rotation's worth of points. Even if they take bar, even if they take kitchen, they'll have to go back to reading. And one of the sites will have to be repeated. And with the way that FIU have just been on top of their adaptations, every time they lose a round, it seems like they fix the problem. And it doesn't, if Miami even win one of their bump sites as soon as they go back, I think FIU is going to be like, yeah, we know how to adapt. So
Yeah, FIU has just been really good. Like you just
yeah,
highlighted, they're adapting to everything. They're playing really well as a team, and they're still having that mental fortitude to continue in on their momentum that they were able to take on Coastline. These guys are a really fluid team, and they aren't really static in any of their strats. They're able to adapt well and
Ooh.
as well see Lulu take out Jam from Xbox, getting the opening pick on the side of Miami and giving them a little bit of a lead. However, Lulu will take a whole lot of damage and he will lose his life as Santa gets the refrag on the same angle, precisely picking off the head of that player. But Audacity is right below, and his position might not be known, as he can get a quite good flank onto these players if his position is kept unchecked, as well as Exert continuously pushing in on that Yokai drone, feeding the intel to his team over towards Cocktail, making sure nobody's going to be able to just run straight into sight for free. But Madi will be able to pick onto Soup as Minty will frag out onto Worm, leaving it all up to Exert on Audacity, and the diffuser has been planted off of an aggressive swing, and it's of a TK coming out of Mod, leaving it all up to Audacity in a 1v2. As he's going to try to nitro away that player, but Mod's just going to continuously back up. Santa's going to use his holes from above, but he'll get flicked on by Audacity, who now knows the last player is outside. He's going to try to run out, get a little bit of a drop shot going on as Mod clutches the game and takes Open League Finals for FIU.
With a drop shot, nonetheless. Incredible play from FIU, even more dominant than the last map. And this wasn't even their pick. This was MU's pick. And you see the congrats coming out in chat too, and it's, well deserved. 12-6 for Santa, 10-5 for Mod. They weren't really at the forefront of the last map, but they certainly woke up here. Maybe just had a little bit of a late start, but it came just in the nick of time. And I Carpe highlighted it as well during the game. Their adaptability, man. You see, this is why this team are the only ones to beat Akron, right? Akron are considered some of the best gunners in Collegiate R6, but I've heard many a time that FIU have some of the biggest brains, and it was really, really highlighted here, just the way they were able to adapt. Really, really well played, and that's going to be, the majority of the prize pool going to them. All that, really cool Corsair gear. What were they? The Void headsets. And it looks like
Yeah.
we're gonna get Jan. I
Yeah,
think.
so by being the Open champions, FIU has pushed through and taken that first place, and they will be rewarded by 5 Corsair Void RGB Elite USB Premium Gaming headsets with 7.1 surround sound in the carbon colorway, as well as $150 in Amazon gift cards split among their 5 players at $30 each, as well as $450 in cash. All of those are in US dollars, as well as Miami isn't going to leave empty-handed, as they will get 5 Corsair HS50 Pro stereo gaming headsets, which are still very high quality, 5 $20 gift cards, and $300 in cash. So even though they did not fully raise the victory trophy, they still are going to have a little bit of bang into their wallet. But I would go ahead and like to give a gigantic shout out to Corsair, who have provided a good amount of this prize pool and are allowing us to beef it up and make it high stakes here, as all those Corsair headsets do come from them. And if you want to get in on the action and get some of those beautiful gaming peripherals for yourself, you can go ahead and go over to Corsair.com and find any of their high quality gaming peripherals or other computer parts on that website, as well as our other sponsors being What's New.gg. They have helped us launch a merch lineup. So if you want to rep CEA all the way on your body, we will be pushing in, and you can go on to What's New.gg and find all of that merch there, as well as if you need a little bit of extra pep in your step, a little bit of kick in the butt, and a little bit of a caffeine craze, you can go over to Rogue Energy and get some of their energy supplement. And if you use code CEA at checkout, you will get 10% off of your order. And now we do have the interview. We Whoa, where we will be able to pick the mind of
Dude.
Jan from Xbox coming out of FIU and see what was going in behind the scenes. Welcome, Jan.
Hey,
Man,
how's it going?
how's it going, Jen? Congrats. I just like to say two C-Depths. That was one of the most eloquent ad reads I've ever heard in my life, and then you go ahead and do that. What a
Yeah,
way to
where
end on a high
we
note.
W's are hard.
But Jan from Xbox, as your full in-game name is. First of all, congrats are in order. You guys really proved today why you guys are one of the top dogs, why you're one of the guys to beat the beast that is Akron. So very well played, especially to you on the first map, man. 12-3.
Yeah.
You really stole the show from who we thought would be maybe, the Santa and Mod show. You really had stepped up there. Was it just were you being utilized in maybe a little bit more of an aggressive role than Mod and Santa were, or were you just feeling it?
Yeah, so like for easier teams, we just walk on site and we usually just throw Santa in and he just hits all the shots. But like when we have people who know how to hold, we just play a little slower and we either buck from below or buck from above, and it's just easier to get kills like that way, right? So when Santa slows down, it allows like all of us to start shooting.
Yeah, speaking, I mean, he definitely popped off on map 2, but
Yeah.
let's talk about map 1 first. Like, let's talk about Coastline. So, do you guys have a storied history on Coastline?
No, we started practicing coastline like 4 days ago.
Oh, really? So it's
We're
a bit of
just
like a
yeah.
pocket map.
Yeah, we were just watching VODs, over the last month or so, when CEA and stuff started getting serious for us, when we had to like start
Mm.
playing good teams, we had to expand our map pool because like right now we know how to play every map, but before that wasn't the thing. So, you know, yeah, I mean theme park, no one's playing that yet, but for Coast, we
Hopefully
just
next season.
adapt to the strat. We watch the VODs, like all the VODs on our opponents, and if they push from the sides, we go up top. If they push up top, we just play horizontal. We just adapt to them, and we don't play our strat. We play theirs.
Yeah, it was definitely something that CDEPS and I highlighted was your adaptability. You guys did not lose the same site twice, which
Yeah,
or well, not twice in a row. You lost bar twice on Cafe, but other than that, bar being, probably one of the strongest sites in this entire game. You guys, your adaptability is definitely to be highlighted. We can flash back to Coastline real quick. You guys lost the first couple rounds. You lost Kitchen. You lost Hookah. So a big part of why you guys lost Hookah is on your defense is Soup and his team were afforded pretty much 2 free entries into Aqua. What'd you guys change about your Aqua presence the second go around to help you win that round?
well, yeah. After we tried them out on Kitchen. It's kind of like an offside. We actually, you always want to win, but if there's one you want to lose, it's probably Kitchen or Blue. Um,
Mhm.
but for the Aqua entries, after they did that on the double entry into Aqua, we started noticing, and we just started double playing below with the C4s, or we have them back up, and just hit the Goyo shields and smokes because we noticed that even if we weren't getting cleared out up top, all their attacks came down to 50 seconds. So with a,
Yeah.
a Goyo shield and 3 smokes, we basically just stopped taking gunfights and started throwing like C4s and stuff at them because there is no reason to like take gunfights with them.
Yeah, and another thing to highlight too is your bar defense. Unfortunately, you guys lost that due to a 4K flank from Audacity. Audacity kind of got into the hallway and killed your 2 Sunrise players for free. And then we noticed the next round was the first round you guys picked up the Valkyrie. Was that flank largely was that just a lack of coverage from the roam, or was that just basically lack of intel on that guy's position? He was just able to sneak
Uh,
past.
just with the way attack works on Coast, me and Menti were in Sunrise, and we knew where the
Hmm.
guy was the whole time. But like we're
Uh,
we're we're on defense for a reason. Sometimes like the SMG 11 just doesn't do the trick. So the guy on the C8 with the ACOG, like as you can see when I play it, it's kind of hard to die off of that. So we knew it, but just trying to avoid because I was getting Zophia'd from Mud. So
I see.
just trying to avoid him. I don't know. Yeah, if you get pinched, you get pinched.
Yeah, and swapping on your attack too, we noticed you guys played it a lot more. uh, What's the word? A lot more for the objective, I'd say, than MU,
Yeah.
where you had 3 plants down, which on Coastline is, 3
It's crazy.
yeah, 3 out of your 4 attacks, you got a plant down. On
Yeah.
Coastline, that's actually really nuts. Was it just something you noticed about the way MU plays, maybe like a little bit of lack of coverage on the site that you guys were able to take advantage of, or was that how you guys plan to play? Kind of, is that how you guys tend to play Coast to begin with?
Yeah. So for coast, like I said, we really don't for all our maps actually. We don't have a set play style. Our play style for the day is the best play style that's going to counter the other team. So for coast, we noticed that if I can take control of like of below and kill the guy in security that's always there, or the guy in sunrise that's always there, I wouldn't even have to buck up, because then that gives them the attention that I'm there and I can get wall banged from courtyard or something. So we just, we have two people watching drones and we just take control of the rest of the map, you know? And we
Yeah.
just plant, like I don't even make buck holes or anything. We just hold because they're expecting gunfights. We're just gonna push them back with utility and just plant the bomb.
Yeah, you guys definitely did well with that, especially too, considering the fact that really two of the plants were completely free when Lyrid just kind of
Yeah.
crouch walked into pool, and then the Ying on your bar attack was able to jump in and
Yeah.
get the default plant down too. And so yeah, that was a 7-4 for you guys. You went 12-3. You went nuts. Moving on to Cafe, we saw Santa and Ma definitely highlighted there. Now, Mira being left up on
Mhm.
Cafe was definitely interesting, and you guys took full advantage of that. One thing I want to highlight is your first bar cocktail defense. We saw the way you guys were playing with the mirrors. You were stacking them by cocktail, using them to
Mhm.
open and hold those really long angles down through in the piano and cigar. What went
Yeah.
wrong the first time, and what were you able to correct for your second go around?
So there was two things that we noted right away. First of all, since obviously mirror is not up every time, sometimes our
Mm.
utility placement is off. So after that, if you noticed, we have a mute and an ADS on every single mirror.
Yeah,
And then
something we noticed. We were like, "Oh, why aren't the windows jammed?" In the next round, you guys put them there.
yeah,
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 instantly, and that made such a
because
big difference.
yeah, because it's, as you can see, they were like hibanaing and yinging the mirrors, and so we just rotated over. But for the other thing, I was just trying to get Santa because he's the gunner with the 416 on the mirror, but
Yeah.
he's never played that, and I didn't know that. So just taking the gunfights from the mirror to piano, it might look easy because you have a mirror, but you have to know how to time it and stuff. So it's just trying to adapt, and it didn't work there.
Yeah, and your first bar attack too. You guys went
Mhm.
down. It was a 3v4 for you guys. Mod was 1 HP.
Yeah.
What was the call to rush white? Because Exert was holding that for so long and then fell off. Were you guys just surprised at the fact that white was all of a sudden free?
Yeah. So, I don't know, like for this team, if you start with a man advantage or a round advantage, you pretty much can guarantee on at least two of the players running out. So we expect, like for Cafe specifically, for buck below, I'm not really supposed to like frag or anything. I literally just make the buck holes and just keep it moving. And what I noticed was that they were all off site, and so two of them, I think that round ran out on Lyrid. He killed them both, and then Mod went up because as obviously those guys were outside of the map, and one like ran out of mining or something. So they're just trying to get us off the windows, and we're just gonna run up white. And I mean, I got C4'd. I thought he was gonna C4 the hallway, but he just threw it really long on the stairs for some reason.
Yeah, yeah, right. The run out potential was definitely highlighted on the reading attack when Lyrid was just fed,
Mhm.
propelled out the windows. And something else I want to highlight too: the uh, the upstairs roam
Mhm.
for from Mod on the castle.
The
Yeah.
Was
ace
he
steal.
was he mad at Lyrid?
You
I just gotta
know,
know.
Mod is just he just kills everything. Like with the UMP, it's really weird. He just plays castle and kills people, but
He's like
you know,
faults.
yeah,
Channeling, nah,
exactly.
get out of here. Channeling
Without
his
the
inner
red dot,
faults.
but
His inner Canadian.
yeah, but at the end of the day, a run win is a run win. It's unfortunate,
Yeah,
but whatever. It's better to win the round.
could have been one for the highlight reel.
Yeah,
But
exactly. But
yeah, I mean, you guys were absolutely insane, just proving that. And I know, the way you describe your playstyle is almost kind of like back how Continuum used to be, just completely relying on counter strat. You cater your play style to trying to just knock off how the other team is. Um, and that's about it for me. CDAPS, you have any burning questions?
Yeah, you touched on everything I wanted to say. I guess great minds think alike. So
Sick.
once again, I'd like to really just say congratulations to Florida International University as I'm sure you're very excited about the prize pool that you have won.
yeah, I'm just looking who I gotta send my address to get that $100. Just waiting. Yeah,
Admins
yeah.
will follow up with
Who needs
you
my
and make sure you get
PayPal? Who needs my
everything.
PO box? I got Cash App. Whatever you guys want, bro.
Yo, you got
I'm ready.
Venmo? You got Venmo
Yeah,
going?
I got Cash App, Venmo. I got a mailbox. Whatever you want, man. I'm ready.
Just drive down to your house, give you a check in person.
Yeah, with gloves on though, because
Oh, that's true. That's true. Gloves
Yeah,
in the face,
practice
man.
social
yeah,
distancing, guys. We
yeah,
need this
just throw
pandemic to be over.
throw the check.
Yeah. So again, congrats on it was an absolutely insane game to watch you guys play in. Very very well played by all five of you guys, and actually, you guys aren't done yet. We got to see you guys in relegations.
Yeah, we're trying to get to the invite league, or yeah,
Yeah, the
is
Yeah,
big
that
you
what
league.
it's
still have
called?
a first round bye, and I do believe I can actually look up. You guys are playing against University of Colorado Boulder in your
Yeah.
relegations match, which will be about next week, I believe. I think you have a little bit of an off time to get a little bit more counter stratting going on, which seems to be your guys' approach. But with that, we wrap up CEA Open League with Florida International University edging out on Miami University. But the action is not over. So if you continue to just keep on tuning in, we will be having some relegations matches continuing through and providing more and more entertainment with you. So once again, I'd like to thank our sponsors at CORSAIR for helping out with the prize pool, What's New.gg for helping us with merch, and Rogue Energy always being by our side, helping us be caffeined up and energetic. So I've been CDAPS.
I've been Crow. It's been
And we'd
nice.
like, yes, it's been very nice, and we'd like to wish you guys a good night.
Wishing that I could run away with you. Imprisoned by fear, just pull me away, pull me away. Secret fantasies of me. Will they ever see the light of day, light of day? I don't know where you are, but I will find you. I will find you. So if you're out there, just run until the edge and fall into me and see where this could end. Make our own life and leave this world behind. Can you hear me? Do you feel me? I don't know where you are, but I will find you. I will find you. Wishing that I could run away with you. Imprisoned by fear, just pull me away, pull me away. Secret fantasies of me. Will they ever see the light of day?